Hey you guys, it is Cool Kid Ike here back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing another discussion slash theory video. And today's discussion slash theory video will be on She-Ra and the Princess Power, or I think it's She-Ra and the Princess Power, something like that. She-Ra and the Mighty Princess Power, or something along those lines. But anyway, She-Ra was originally a show that started back then in like the 19s, I think, and this is just the reboot series, which I have to say I loved it. I spent all day yesterday watching season 1, episode 1 through episode 13. I have to say it was one of the most craziest shows. I never thought it was going to sound I never thought it was going to be so good. Like, it may sound a little girly, like it may sound as girly, and it may not look as bad, but literally the storyline of everything, it's amazing. Okay, I cannot wait for season 2. But anyway, what I'm going to be doing today is I will be doing another discussion slash theory video, which I've already said, but I will be talking about one of the characters from the show, not game. Sorry about that. Mistakenly said what I wasn't supposed to say. But anyway, I'll be talking about one of the characters from the show, and that is Catra. Now, Catra, when I saw her in the very first episode, like just a couple minutes of her, I instantly fell in love with that character. And later throughout the show, we found out a lot more about Dora than we found out about Catra, which is a little weird because when it started off, like, the main two people it started off with was Catra and Adora. Like, they were the very first people we saw in the show. So you would think they would have some sort of like important characteristics and important roles, which of course Adora had, but Catra kind of just stuck out while she was not only being treated like garbage by Shadow Weaver, but we actually got a chance to see a lot about her we never thought. And considering that Adora and Catra have this weird relationship with each other, I have to say, for the most part, they started off as pretty good friends, but throughout the show now, currently, they've went through some crazy, stuff, when it comes to relationship problems, or not relationship, even though a lot of people have been telling me about Cat Dora, Catra X Adora, a lot of people have been saying, do you ship it? I don't want to say I'm ready for that. Of course, there is a lot of shows like Steven Universe and, Adventure Time, with shows like Ruby and Sapphire getting married, and of course, Princess Bubblegum and Marceline kissing. It's a lot of stuff with girl relationships that have been circulating. So I'm not saying Cat Dora wouldn't be adorable. Like, I'm not saying it would be a little cute to see Catra and Adora having some sort of relationship. I just feel like when it comes to like personal traits, it's not really the time. So, we haven't gotten any real Catra Redemption, which is actually what this episode is mainly about. Catra Redemption, because I feel like if Catra could be redeemed from all of her mess, then things would actually get better. Because I get she's not had a pretty good life, like when it comes to like terms of childhood and the things she's been through with Shadow Weaver. Like, Shadow Weaver's always looked at Adora as one of the most good, like, great, marvelous people, and then she looks at Catra as some sort of bad influence for Adora. Like, she's just a failure, and she's always looked at her like that. Like Shadow Weaver has always abused Catra. But now that Shadow Weaver is out of commission, I feel like this is Catra's time to shine, and she could definitely take what she wants and possibly even get moved up to Shadow Weaver's place when it comes to the Horde. And I feel like that's probably going to happen now that she's impressed Hordak with all of her crazy plans. And she might even try to take Hordak out. Of course, that's probably not going to happen, at least not until she's gotten, higher up in lead. Of course, I think Shadow Weaver was actually the closest to Hordak, so that's probably going to go differently. But in terms of relationship problems, I feel like Catra and Adora have definitely going to have to take some time with their stuff. Because, I can say I would ship Cat Dora back in, like, the very first episode, when they were actually still friends, or at least getting along, but now that they can't really stand each other's presence due to Adora finding out more about her life and kind of just abandoning Catra, even though she said back then when they were kids that she would be there for her, they would stay together forever, Not in that way, just like where they would be there for each other pretty much as best friends and even sisters because, they both got adopted by Shadow Weaver. But considering Adora just left her, even though she did have some sort of magical destiny, she still left her for something she didn't even fully understand. Now, I get protecting Etheria, I understand that, but, like, what about your Homer trait? Like, if anything, Adora just made an entire new villain with Catra, which they had some good friendship from what we saw in the very beginning, which started off with them two. And even though we know a lot about Adora being She-Ra and, being, the very first in a couple years, I still feel like she could have fixed things, which is probably why she was doing a lot of sorries when it came to Catra. Even though things when it comes to relationship problems, I can see why things probably wasn't so good for them, but I can also see why things probably should have been fixed. And, things probably could have been resolved if they just got along better when it came to, everything else. And I feel like they're probably going to get along in the future, even though Catch is probably boiling inside from what Adora's done, and planning like thoughts or not thoughts. Sorry, wrong word. But planning. What is that word? Trots, ideas. I forgot that word. Just plot points. Yeah, she was just plotting on how she could. Sorry, I said the wrong word. But she was just plotting on ways in which she could like take down or at least take down Adora in that state. But I feel like their childhood is what really matters, their relationship and the promise Adora made against Catra that they would be together forever. Again, not in that way, just like they would always be there for each other, and then Adora leaves. So that's why I feel like once they make up and everything gets figured out and Catra finds out more about her actual like life, more about her mom, because again she was adopted by Shadow Weaver, so she doesn't know her parents, she doesn't know anything about her parents. This is still a tough road. That's when like Catra has had it. She is having it bad right now. Like, okay, even though she's probably gonna take Shadow Weaver's place, she still has it bad right now. She still does not have the normal like life she could have had. That's why I feel like a Catra Redemption arc would be perfect. But before we can get to her possibly being redeemed, or even her and Adora making up and actually, becoming friends again, I feel like the very first start would have to be Catra finding out more about her parents, more about her mom and dad, actually finding her family and getting everything back on track. Because again, she's had a terrible life, and being picked out, just being treated like garbage by Shadow Weaver throughout her childhood just made things worse since she already couldn't find her real mom and dad. So I feel like once she finds out her mom, finds out her dad, maybe soothing things over with them, and then soothing things over with Adora, then we're just one step closer to possibly having Catra redeemed. And then she might even forget about the Horde. She might leave, actually, because, I mean, right now, literally the Horde is everything Catra's got, like, when it comes to terms of her life. Her life's really messed up right now. And since one of her best friends, practically sisters, left her, she's just going through it right now. And now that she's actually taken a step place, which apparently is something that Catra's always wanted, and since Adora had took that commission spot, it was pretty hard for her. But I guess that's something that Catra always really wanted, and now that we're actually on that road with her, I feel like, she might forget about being the captain and, actually being loved and cared about in the Horde and being wanted, actually being, like, top dog instead of just being that lower class mistake that everyone keeps talking about. I feel like once she actually just forgets about all of what happened at the Horde and just, all I got is my mom and dad to think about and my best friend slash sister. And I feel like once she makes soothing things over with Adora, finds out everything with her parents, then she might forget about the Horde and leave, and then we won't have to worry about her problems with, of course, Hordak, which I feel like would be a super problem because with only a couple minutes of screen time this season, next season he's probably going to sport a important part in the show. And of course, he's probably going to treat her better than Shadow Weaver did, but I still feel like, just saying, things can only get worse from here when it comes to terms of Catra. But if we do want to see a Catra redemption arc, she's going to have to just let go and forget about everything that happened at the Horde and just try to focus on finding her mom and dad, and possibly soothing things over with Adora. That's why I'm like, we are not even close to possibly seeing a Cat Dora. So any people who out there who ship it, you're gonna have to just pause on Cat Dora because we can't see any real relationship with the two until they actually make up and Catra actually finds out more about her family, let go of the past and just move on and actually has a clear mindset. And, once Adora gets herself fixed with the whole situation with being She-Ra, actually, like, not having so much stress on her about always having to help people and be there for people, then we can start to see some real redemption and some real future. And that's when things can only get better from here. But anyway, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more of Cool Kid Ike. I will definitely notify you guys for some more videos. You know, you can definitely hit me up with some more ideas and stuff, discussions and stuff to talk about. But anyway, you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye-bye.